All right, Pisces, there's some noise in the background, but you can't hear it as much as I thought, so we're going to keep continuing here. So you see this? This is what I'm talking about. It's you avoiding what's for you now. You know, what's for you right now. You know, you don't have to, and if you were taught that, you know, don't get me wrong, I understand that is a hard thing to switch. But what's on the other side of that is something is more. And you can easily, with ease, get there this month. You just have to understand something about yourself of why does this make you sad or upset or in your head? You know, maybe before this point, what is it? How did this happen? And maybe you trace it all the way back to something from how you were brought up, and you almost feel like you can't handle it all. But it's not yours to only handle anymore. If you're the only one with emotional depth in your relationship or in any relationship, then you're growing and you're probably seeing your way out of places. Two of Pentacles to Four of Pentacles. You've learned a lot, but there's some things you're going to maybe have to let go of. Again, this constant reminder here of wherever you're trying to do too much, or maybe you like are avoiding certain things because you're not going out, or you're going out when you shouldn't be, or you're doing things that maybe you are just literally avoiding being alone for these revelations to happen. But we have two fours here now, that whatever it is that you think that it's a physical thing, that is something you're completely attached to, that you're holding on to, you're going to realize in the coming month that that's all just what you've decided in your mind. And what's coming from this evolution in all your relationships and in your value and this shift and change that's happening, you know, Saturn's like, you can't keep doing this. And if you're a Pisces rising, again, with Aquarius running through your 12th house for a while, there's a lot of stuff that it's gonna feel unknown to you. Especially if you're a Pisces who maybe hasn't gone through a lot of growth thus far or change, and it's not a bad thing, like maybe you just didn't have to, or maybe you've been avoiding it, whatever it is, spiritually, and whatever's been, you know, tucked into the subconscious is now coming out. So the High Priestess to me is saying, like, allow it to come forward. It's giving you the fruit that you need. It's giving you it will give you peace of mind eventually, even if it's not in the moment, that maybe these emotions are coming out so that you can let go. You're just like wondering, well, what is it? Well, there's maybe some needs you need to speak up about, some things about maybe what you want in commitment, what you have decided to move into. Maybe you will talk about what you've been through to this person, or what you're going through to like if you're going into anything, like even with friendships, this is something that me and some of my friends do when we need to make, or even if I'm at work with people, I'm like, hey, I'm just like, if I'm acting this kind of way, it's just because I'm, you know, dealing with some shit right now, or whatever it is. No need to give any detail or context. This is just what's happening. So understand that, you know, communicating those things are going to help. Like, I'm letting go of a lot, and I'm realizing that there's a lot of things that I thought were more permanent than they really are. There's some things that I thought I needed, or in order to live or survive, and now you're realizing, like, there are certain things you could live without, that all of that comes from just from a thought first. All of that just comes from that. And maybe you're having this conversation, or these conversations, because you do have Pluto running through your 12th house. Again, then we have Aquarius coming out here, and it doesn't feel the best. You don't feel, in this time, you could feel not like who you were even a month ago. And you're like, am I even, like, even if you're wondering about being authentic, like, are you even being authentic? Does this feel authentic? Do I feel like my intuition is switching? I feel like there's so much that I hadn't been listening to. But now that you're acknowledging these things, yeah, it can feel uncomfortable, it can feel a little messy, but at least you're acknowledging it and things are coming to the surface. Right? Because if it never did, then how would you get there? If the Ace of Cups is what you want, but you find yourself in a really unfortunate place mentally, then the High Priestess is like, you got to get your mind together. Your mind is very important right now. That's where we're healing. You got to let it out. But then we also need to come back to it and give it the proper love and attention that it needs, because there's some stuff going on in there that isn't going to help you for your future. It's showing you where you may be investing too much time. 8 of Pentacles to 7 of Cups. And you're realizing it's like, what am I even doing? And you keep going back and forth about this thing. And it's causing so much tension that you almost feel like nothing's ever going to work. But the solid thing here is that, one, you can't judge yourself for this, but it's going to be a very like eye-opening experience this month, because anyone, there are certain people that can have issues going on with internally, and they can continue to do their work because they need the money, or maybe it's the thing that is only healing for them, or it's all they know, but it's not really giving the energy back in the way it used to. Overall, there's like an internal struggle here with maybe leaving behind something that was never good for you in the first place. And this person or the situation makes it very, very clear that they were never either interested in the first place, or they were only interested in maybe, so now that you're, okay, this is like a very full circle thing. Now that you're dealing with this particular control aspect, it seems like now that you're changing, almost like they're revealing how much control or how much they've wanted you in this state. That being vulnerable in this state is what attracted you to them. That they like that kind of person. Now, for some people that is love, but for you going through this change, it's not anymore. So there are some of you who might, end a relationship this month. Again, that this I'm talking specifically romantic, but for others, this could be really about something that you've put a lot of work into, and now you're realizing that you're just fighting yourself through this, that no one's actually helping you through it, that it's all just you, that they've been saying one thing and doing another this whole time. And it's possibly that you've been delivered the news by someone or something in a very, a way that wouldn't be expected, right? And, well, it hits you. You're in this vulnerable state already, and you're like, wow, now I'm seeing everything. Yeah, now you're seeing everything. But this is what you've been waiting for. And yeah, it's not going to be easy, so you do need it for some of you, but I don't want to ever say that this stuff is ever easy. It could be amazing and you could feel grateful to find it out eventually, but you need to be able to rely on a solid structure right now. So if you have like really good friends, if you like communities like this, as still developing, or if this works for you, don't be afraid to be more untraditional in some, relationships, and you'll meet the way that you meet people moving forward. But also, if there's anyone in your life that you could really, who loves you, who knows what you're going through, is going to be honest with you, but also is going to have the compassion, because you're coming out of a time where, and coming through a time where you thought everything was going just fine. and all of a sudden your world kind of gets flipped, turned upside down, and you may act or seem content with it, but it is not easy. I really don't know how loud that is next door. I'm gonna shut the window. Hold on 1 second and we'll get through this last part. Alright, sorry about that. So hopefully you can still hear this just fine. But you're going to realize that some boundaries or some things that you've put up were only to protect you in your heart in that time. And now that you're opening up into this abundant mindset that life is kind of bringing you towards, that a lot needs to be cleared out of the way. It's a very potent time for you where you're ending something major while beginning something so unknown but so beautiful. You know, it is the lotus for you this month. And Taurus season will have even more insight, but during this time, if you harness the transits that are happening, right? You're the only one who didn't get certain things brought up. So this is a very specific reading for you, that if you find a way to implement everything that's going on into a deep, grounded, spiritual way, maybe this month you find religion or a specific, it doesn't have to be just a vocation, but a specific spiritual thing, practice that you dedicate yourself to, and you bring all your questions there, and you find that maybe even some answers come through or some solutions, that Taurus season will be a lot more profound in this existential beginning. All right, Pisces, we're gonna stop there. It's a lot to process. However, this is a very clear reading and it could only happen now. Thank you for being here. Sorry if the noise is really, harsh. I don't think it's that bad on camera. I checked it, but we will see you next month, okay?